So we've successfully cut out this side over here, and I know on most of your projects you guys have taken this part here off and they've both been filed down. So what we need to do now is we need to work on cutting out this center section of our tulip here, of our leaf part. And what we're going to do is we're going to drill a relief hole down here. So it'll be a nice big area for us to cut down into, and at that point there we'd be able to remove the blade or turn it and work our way out. But we want to have an area down here where we can get ourselves into. And the hole that we're going to drill is looks to be about 5/16 of an inch, which is about the diameter of this pencil right here. So what I'm going to do is I would take my pencil and I'd put my eraser down here and I'd take a look and say, all right, I can see where that's going to be. Take my pencil, turn it around, put my little point of my pencil right there, sight down and say, yep, that looks really good. You can see I've got myself a little center dot right here, and it just needs to be in that area. We just wouldn't want to drill it way over here, way over here. We want it to be pretty close to the center down here. Each pattern's a little bit different, so that's the way I like to do it. Sight right down your pencil, make a little dot. Now, right here, what we're going to use is our scratch awl, and we're going to start a little center hole. Now look, I'm just lightly tapping this. Is this white pine really soft? Very soft. Do you think if I hit it hard like this, I could probably split it in half? Yeah. So see, I just lightly tap it like that. That's plenty fine. I could, just the force of me pressing down on this is honestly enough. If it was a harder piece of wood, we might have to give it a little bit more of a hit. But if we take a look, we can see that we have a nice center hole started right here. Now we're going to use this drill press over here for the next step of our project. And have we used the drill press in here at all yet or no? So this is our first time using this machine? Okay. So we've gotten some newer machines over the years, but this one here is one of the last old ones that we have left. The one sitting behind me is something that we're going to get rid of. But this machine here, we're going to go over a few things on this. Our drill bit is over here. I have a scrap piece of wood right here, and the scrap piece of wood is here for two reasons. Number one, so that we don't drill down through our good table on our drill press. And number two is it offers some support on the bottom of this so that when we drill through, we reduce the amount of blowout that could possibly come in the back. Okay? Now, do you think that this drill press magnifies the force by pulling down on that handle? What do you think? Yeah. Right? It's gear driven. So do you think that we could really pull down and almost force that bit through the wood? So you have to have a little bit of restraint when using it. We're just going to go nice and slow and let the bit cut through. That will also eliminate some of our blowout. All right? And the reason why we don't want blowout is because if we blow the back of our project out, it's not going to look crisp and clean, and it's a little bit more sanding and fading to try to make it look good. So when we come over here, what I like to do is I like to hold the biggest section of my block of wood with my left hand, since I'm going to use my right hand to pull this down. I happen to be right-handed, so it's a little bit more easier for me. All right, what we don't want to do is cross our hands and use it like this. All right, we would just have to use our right hand to pull it down and our left hand to hold. So what I would do is I have my scrap piece here. I'd come over here with my block of wood, and I would get this really close like this. Now, if you wanted to work with a partner, you could, and you could have the partner press start for you. But I'm holding this down really good, so I know I'm going to be in great shape. I'm going to have my glasses on. I'm going to press the start button. I'm going to slowly pull down on my handle. I'm just using this, just the weight of my arm. Now, you should be able to feel when it goes through. I'm getting pretty close to the bottom. A lot of times the project will give a little jump like that. Now on this one here, I did not feel it go through. But I can't push this down anymore. It's stopped. So I have it set to stop once it goes through your project a little bit. Carefully bring this back up. Hold the stop button. And if we take a look, can you see that in the frame? This right here, we have next to no blowout. It cut right down through. All right, so that's in great shape, but we don't want to see these big chunks ripped off this. It's possible that some of you guys might do that, all right, but do you notice how that center hole looks mighty nice? All right, and this is going to allow us to cut down into this. So we're going to go over that in the next video. So we've successfully drilled our relief hole down here in the bottom of our leaf part, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw a nice straight line down into here. That way when we cut this out, one piece will fall out, and then we can cut the other side and that piece will fall out. We're going to take our square, put it right at our top like this, and we'll move it over, and we will draw a nice square line right down in it. I'm going to go ahead and lock in my vise. If I take a look at this, I'm definitely going to bottom out on my frame, aren't I? So do you think I should maybe start off by just turning my saw blade right off the bat? Sure. Does it matter if I go on this side or this side? No. I'll just turn it one way. Tighten this up. And we'll sit right behind it. Put my glasses on. Square my line over my top. Because we definitely want to make sure we cut nice and square when we do this here. Take a look at our blade. Now, you hear how it's kind of vibrating a little bit in the vise because it's so high up? Just want to take our time, cut down in there. Notice how this is still nice and 90 degrees. Nice and square all the way. Getting really close, so we want to make sure we go nice and slow. All right. So at this point here, we can do one or two things. All right. And I'll show you guys a couple of those things. We could try to take our blade all the way back out and start cutting down in. Or we could turn this and we could try to cut ourselves out of this here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to loosen this up. And we're going to put this in our vise. Let's see here. We're going to move our... There we go. We're going to move this like this. And we're going to keep this nice and 90 degrees, and we're going to cut ourselves, leaving our line, cutting our way out. Remember, we want to keep this blade 90 degrees to our project, so we don't want to be up or down. So I'm nice and low in my vise. So if I go down any this way, I'm going to hit my table, which is kind of handy as well. Remember, we're going to have to steer this. We don't want to be too close to our line. Periodically, you might want to stop. Take a look, make sure everything's looking pretty good. I'm maintaining about a nice blade's width above my line, which I really like. I don't want to be really close to it. I feel like if I was really close to it, I could get myself into a pickle. Stop, take a look. Now this happens to go on a little bit up of an angle, so I'm going to have to rotate my saw back a little bit. Really close to the after, really slow. All right. Piece came out. Let's take a look. Can you guys still see all my pencil line? Yeah. Now, that was a little bit tricky to cut. Me personally, I would have liked to have done it this way. We will take this, we'll put it in our vise. Notice how I'm going to choke it down in the vise really good. All right? I'm not going to have it super high up where it's going to vibrate real bad and possibly break. I'm going to choke it down in there. I'm going to take a nice straight edge here, and we're going to extend a line out. We will square a line across the top. And would you say this is pretty much straight up and down, pretty close? I'd say so. And for this here, I'm not too crazy about having this out on this side. Maybe I'll move it around to the other side. Maybe I'll start with it straight up and down. We'll see how that looks. You can always move it later. Now, do you see how this thing is vibrating on me? So we got to be very, very, very careful that we don't break this. I feel like I have much more control right now cutting this straight up and down than I did earlier, trying to cut it out like that. Now, I was able to make it out pretty good, but I feel like I have so much more control right now. Looking at my table, I'm nice in line with my table. I'm feeling nice and square. I'm staying off my line. I'm feeling really positive about this cut. Getting pretty close to my line. I'm going to double check. Now I'm getting really close to my frame right here. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen this up, turn my frame, bring this here back up, and I'm going to cut really close down to my vise. I'm definitely going to stop before I cut into my vise. Oh, it actually came right out. Let's take a look, see what it looks like. Alright, looks like I need to take a little bit more off. We're going to put it down in our vise, and we're going to see if we can possibly cut that a little bit. And this is a pretty close, tight area down here. What would you say? Yeah. So we're really going to take our time and go very, very slow. See how it moved right off of it? I need to be very close to my line right here. Now this blade's a little bit challenging too because it's got a little twist in it. So as I go through, it's kind of going like this. Alright, I got that cut. My cuts look really nice. So now we're going to have to talk about filing this. Could I break it right down this line very easily? Oh yeah. So I want to make sure that when I put this in my vise, I put it in like this, so that I'm grabbing this piece right here. Should I file this up here at all? Am I probably going to break it if I do it? Yes. We're only going to file right here. James, you think it's a good idea to hack that off right there? I would actually do it, because guess what? I don't want to, I can see my pattern line. I don't need to do anything out here, so we're just going to come right out here. We don't need that piece anymore. Let's get it out of the way. Should I cut this up here? No. What could happen? We only want to do some tooling on the part that we have in our vise. Now, what kind of a file do you think I should use down in there? Yeah, I would definitely use a flat file. Now, do you think a flat file is going to fit in there very easily? No. Depends on the size. So I'm going to bring over a variety of files. See what we have. So I have a multitude of flat files here. This happens to be the biggest one that I picked out. We're going to see if this fits in. Ooh, that's pretty tight. I probably should not use that one yet, should I? Let's see if this one here fits in. That one's a little bit snug too. Probably should not use that one quite yet. This one looks kind of skinny. This is about 3/16. Alright, so if I take this, see how I can carefully start moving this thing here down in? Keyword carefully. Start getting pretty plugged up. very carefully, because I don't want to accidentally slip and break this off. This is the trickiest part right here. I'm getting super close. You can tell it's getting snug. There we go. See that? So we're able to make our way all the way down in. So from here, we'll start working our way out. Now, this is not too aggressive of a file right here. So at this point here, I might want to go to a file like this one right here. It's a nice double cut. And I'm going to carefully work my way out. Getting rid of all my file lines. I'm sorry, all of my relief cut lines or my saw blade lines. I'll be very careful down in here. Am I periodically probably going to have to take this and move it over and work on this side? Yeah, it's going to take me a little bit of time to get down into here. All right, but the thing you want to remember is to take your time at this step. See how I'm working that? All right, and only file the piece that is in your vise. Do not do this up here. Do not attempt to file this up here. It's a recipe for breaking. It's going to take us a little bit of time. I don't want to take too long of a video to go ahead and file this all out. But it's the same thing. We're going to work our way up and out like this. Move it over. We'll do a little bit in here as we get a little bit more clearance in this tight section. All right, it'll be easier for us to file. They're pretty easy looking stuff for you guys? All right.